Good evening. I'm Carlos Marin, author of The Ultimate Success Formula and creator of Your Unlimited Life. And welcome to another edition, another episode of Your Unlimited Life. We created this show to help you to understand, to know, to believe that you can be, do, and have anything and everything that you want in life. You just got to develop the mindset, the belief system, the way of thinking, the way of processing of the person who already is, has, and does it, and use their strategies. And the other day, we started talking about the beliefs of multimillionaires, the way of thinking of multimillionaires, so that you could model it, so that you could take it and you could use it and apply it in your own life to produce those kinds of results. You know, if you're here watching this show and if you've been following me for some time, you probably are one of those entrepreneurial types that are interested in getting ahead in life. You're not satisfied with where you are. You're looking for a way to get even further along and to just pick up on some of the key strategies that will take you there. And I've got to tell you, this stuff is very, very, very powerful. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is really, like I said last time, I mean, this is the power that we have within us that can create happiness, joy, success, love, wealth, riches, lavish abundance, and it can also create misery. It can create poverty. It can create unhappiness. It can create huge problems. It can create all kinds of issues for us if we don't control it, if we don't use it wisely. And you may be thinking that I'm talking about, God within us or, something like that. And while that is the power, that is the unbridled, omnipotent power that we all have within us, I believe we all are individualizations of God, but we've been given free will. We've been given the ability and the power to choose, and to choose what we will do, and to choose the type of life that we will have. And so the power that I'm talking about here today is your ability to focus. More particularly, I'm talking about constructive focus, because you can have destructive focus, you can have unbridled focus, you can have focus run amok, and that's what most people have. You see, in life, whatever you direct your attention to becomes more real. When you hear people, and especially in spiritual circles and so forth, that say that consciousness is the only reality, and you say, oh, that seems like a bunch of hooey, right? Well, when you stop and you think about it, consciousness really is the only reality, because if you're not conscious of something, it's not real to you. That doesn't mean that if you're not conscious of something, it can't hurt you, it can't destroy you, because it can, right? If you're not conscious of a hurricane, a typhoon, a tsunami, it can still hurt you, but you will become conscious of it when you're in the middle of it. And so those of us who want to direct our lives on purpose and who want to really create the life of our dreams must learn how to direct our attention purposely. Because the way we've been brought up, our attention is all over the place. And today, in the day and age that we live in, there are so many attention robbers out there that it's crazy. I mean, the majority of people today, their productivity level has gone in the tank. And it's gone in the tank because there's so much distraction, so much competition for our attention out there that the average person just doesn't know what to do anymore. Everybody's multitasking. And I heard Brendan Burchard say one time that, I forget what study it was that was done. Maybe it was, I don't know. Let me not misquote anybody, but I know Brendan said it, that some neurological study that said that multitasking had about the same effect on the brain as smoking marijuana. Okay? So in other words, it just defocuses you, demotivates you, and just scatters your thinking all over the place. And our thinking is powerful, ladies and gentlemen, in direct proportion to our ability to laser focus. Because just like a laser, you can take a light bulb, for example, and you can have a light bulb that can light up this whole room. I got these lights up here that are LED lights that have the same brightness as daylight, 5600, whatever other thing it is, the same temperature as daylight. And if I look at them, they kind of blind me. But they're very powerful, but I can go and I can put my hand up next to them and not get burnt because they're very low temperature. So they diffuse a lot of light, but I can go put my hand on them and I won't get burnt. Meanwhile, you can have a laser, which is like a little red pin dot, right? And it could just like put a hole right through me, or it could put a hole through that fireplace, or it could put a hole through metal, through steel. And because it's so concentrated, the power is so concentrated in that laser that it can actually cut through steel. And so this is what I want you to understand today, is that in your life, whatever you focus on, which is another word for direct your attention to and keep your attention there, whatever you focus on is what grows in your life. It is what becomes more real to you. It is what you become more conscious of and, just literally grows. I mean, think about this. Have you ever had a problem and you just were so consumed with this problem? You were so afraid that this thing was going to eat you up and carry you away, or you just saw it coming and growing and so forth in your life, and you just kept focusing on it and looking at this problem from every angle under the sun. And what happened to that problem? The more you looked at it, the more ominous it got, the bigger it got, the scarier it got, the more real it got, right? And so, and hopefully it didn't consume you. hopefully it didn't come to pass. But if we put all of our attention on our problem, it just grows and we can't get out of our own way. Well, you see, you can't see your problems and your dreams at the same time. In life, you can't see your problems. Your mind works like the lens of this camera. What it focuses in on, right, it sees. Now, it could zoom out, right, and pick, there's a couple different angles being shown here today, and, there's a wide shot that you can see a lot more of me, the room, and everything else, and then there's a tighter shot. And that shot actually could even go tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. It could focus on, my face. I like to keep it about this place here because I use my hands a lot. And if not, then if we're focusing on here, then it's this is going on, and all of a sudden, then my hands will pop up for a second. It looks kind of goofy, and so so this is why I like to have these shots in this size. But the more you focus, the more you see. I mean, this camera, that lens is so powerful, we could focus in, not that I want them to do this, and you could probably see every wrinkle on my face, the pores, on my face, the whole 9 yards. And so that's what focus can do. So what we've got to learn to do in our lives is how to direct our focus, how to direct our attention towards our dreams, not our fears, right? Towards our dreams, because when we focus on our dreams, they become bigger and more real, and they take on greater color and greater dimension, and we hear the sounds more clearly, and we see the sights more clearly, and we feel the feelings, right? That's like, why are those theaters today that have all that surround sound and the big, what do you call it, 180-degree business, and why are those so popular? Because you feel like you're in the movie, right? And when you feel like you're in the movie, I mean, now there's big things going on with virtual reality, and the whole thing about virtual reality is you feel like you're in it, right? So that's exciting in many realms, but I can see where people are going to use this wrong, and I can see where you're going to be in scary situations and war-type situations, and crazy things can happen because the mind can't tell the difference between something vividly imagined and something that's actually going on, because your imagination is what creates reality, okay? But it's your focus that directs your imagination. It's your focus that directs your mind. It's your focus that directs the power of God that's working through you, okay? And so we've got to learn to focus on our dreams. Focus on solutions, not on problems. Yes, you may have to look at the problem and understand it in order to focus on the solution, but you've got to learn to focus on the solution. That has to be the primary thing that you're putting attention to. And you've got to understand that problems bring their own solution. Remember this concept that I talk about all the time called the positive opposite. Everything in life really is two things. It's the thing you want and its opposite, right? It's the thing you want and not having the thing you want. It's the thing you don't want, right? And the solution to the thing you don't want, which is what you do want. Every problem brings its own solution. If you can't pay your bills, right? You say, well, that's BS, Carlos. I can't pay my bills. Show me how that problem brings me its own solution. It's very simple. What's the solution to not being able to pay your bills? What's the solution? Having so much money that the bills are not a big deal, correct? Having so much money that the bills are paid and you have no bills. Isn't that the solution, right? Well, yeah, but I mean, but see, that's what you got to focus on. You have to focus on the solution to the problem. You have to focus on, and first off, I mean, if a person can't pay their bills, I would focus on making enough money, right, to be able to pay the bills easily. That would be the first focus. Then I would focus on being able to pay them off completely and being debt-free and then financially free and then wealthy, right? We have to take little stepping stones, especially when we're way behind the eight ball, right? But the positive opposite just shows you that every problem brings its own solution. The guy who's in jail, what's the solution to that problem? Freedom. Freedom. Now, us paying our bills is probably easier than the guy who's in jail, right? But everything has a solution. The positive opposite is the solution. So we have got to learn how to be Imagineers. We have to Imagineer our own future, and that's a combination of imagination and engineering or creating. So we have to Imagineer our future. We have to imagine and feel our dreams achieved. And this constructive focus, ladies and gentlemen, is the key. It is the power that works in us, okay? It is the power that works in us. It is our free will. It is the power that works in us, our ability, and it's the only thing we have free will over, by the way, okay, is our ability to direct our attention, okay? And so this multiplies when you focus positively on your dreams. It multiplies a positive mental attitude. When you have a destructive focus, right, then it multiplies a negative mental attitude. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Whether you think the glass is half empty or the glass is half full, you're right. It's all the way you look at it. Focus is the key, okay? Focus is the key. And when you focus on the right thing, guess what? Then you have a happy life. Then you're excited about your life. Then you have confident boldness, which we talked about last week, and then you take creative action. Constructive focus always leads to bold, confident action. And the key, when you are focused on the dream being fulfilled, and that is what you should be focused on. You should focus on the solution of your problem. You should focus on it as you're already living, as you already are, do, and have that which you desire. And when you focus that way, the more you focus on it, the more feelings of already being, doing, and having are, right? And so then, when you do that, you feel compelled to take productive action, which is what creative action is. You're not just busy, you're taking creative action. You are actually reaping your harvest. You've already created, you planted the harvest in your mind, you've created it in your mind, and you go out and you take the action, creative, massive action, as I call it, and you're claiming what's already yours. It feels like play, not like work, right? It's living the dream. It's actually fun to do it. So you express greater life, greater love, greater beauty. The key and the power is in directing your focus constructively. Constructive focus. That's one of the keys of millionaires, is they have a constructive focus of mind. They are continually constructing with their focus, finding solutions to problems, creating greater aspirations and showing people how to aspire higher and live better, greater lives, it's all about constructive focus. So remember that. Keep that in mind today. We're getting to that part of the show that I love, which is me shutting up for a little bit, having my beautiful wife come here and grace the living room with us, and then answering your questions. So here's my wife, Ceci, joining me. Hi, baby. How are you? You look very lovely tonight.
Thank you.
So what do we have happening here tonight with these lovely people? What questions do they have?
Actually, some fun ones
Some
tonight.
fun ones. Oh, okay.
Yes. I love this topic about focus, but it's easier said than done. How do I maintain my focus when I'm so distracted with other people's needs?
Well, that is a very good question. And just like all things in life, your mind is like a muscle. Your mind is like a muscle. Even though it's a spiritual muscle, because if you think about it, your brain is a physical object, right? Your brain is an organ. It's part of your body, and it has, all this cablery going, connecting all the pieces of your body and going back to your brain and, all that kind of stuff. And it is the physical organ that ties everything together in our body. But think about this, because this is an important thing. Is it really your brain that's thinking? I mean, when a person, quote unquote, dies or passes, right? The brain is still there inside the body. The body's still there. Everything is still there, but something has gone. Something has left, right? And that something that left is spirit or mind or soul, or I don't want to get into a religious discussion, but it's something, it's energy, right? The energy has gone. And that energy is the intelligent energy that was activating all of this, okay? And so we've got to learn how to exercise that, because this functions habitually, this functions automatically, and if you let it run amok, it will run amok. So part of the problem is we have not learned how to direct our attention purposely. And yes, there is a lot of distraction, and yes, I face it too. But you know what? We have to look at what it is that we desire to accomplish in our lives, what it is we want to create with our lives, what it is that we want our lives to be about. And then we have to give that priority. We have to be able to say no, right? We've got to be able to say.
But that's difficult for some people.
I know it's difficult for some people, but you know what? If you haven't said no in 20 years, right? I mean, the first no is going to be harder than somebody who says no on a regular basis, right? And it's kind of like this. And obviously in our live seminars, we teach all kinds of different tactics. I mean, this would be a great one for tapping, and a great one for, different releasing things. But, in this show, I also want to teach you how to think the right way. And part of the whole process is learning how to think the right way. And so, I mean, nothing in life has any meaning except for the meaning you give it. And you've been giving this a certain meaning for a long, long time. And let's remember one of the premises that we all should live by, and that is that you can't give what you don't have. So you think that by putting other people first and by doing what they want, that is serving them. And while you may make life easier for them and you may make life simpler for them, if you're not fulfilled, eventually you're going to resent. Eventually you're going to, live in remorse. You're going to live in regret. And that is poison for you. And if it's poison for you, it's poison for the other person. Why does the airline tell you that if there's a sudden loss in cabin pressure and the masks come down in front of you, why does it say if you're with a minor or an infant or whatever, put your mask on first before trying to help the other one? Well, because if you're fumbling trying to put the mask on the infant and all of a sudden you run out of oxygen and you faint, right? Then you die and the baby dies, right? You can't give what you don't have. So that's why they say put your mask on first, because then that way you are in a position to be able to help them. If you're fumbling trying to put it on them first, then and they're freaking out, obviously, well, then you know what? You're putting yourself at jeopardy, and by putting yourself at jeopardy, you put that child at jeopardy as well. And so you have got to learn to be an example to the people in your life. I'm not saying don't be giving, don't be loving. I think it's important. Be giving, be loving, do for other people, right? I mean, serving others is what we're here to do. But if you don't take time for yourself, if you don't take time to meditate, if you don't take time to look at your goals and review your goals every day and get focused and take some time to release, some of these strategies and things that we teach you, to release the things that are the emotional hurts and psychic wounds that are holding you down, then you won't be in a position to give to others. Understand?
Yeah, and this is a very valid question, especially for women.
Especially for women, I know.
Women struggle with this a lot because it's been ingrained in us
Right.
to always serve. We actually sometimes feel even guilty if we take time for ourselves instead of giving to our loved ones and our kids and our spouses. So, but anyways, please take that to heart because it is critical. That's my point. Next one. Ready?
Yep.
What do you do when your inner critic and negative self-talk keeps you from going for it?
Okay. Well, good question. Good question. And once again, the answer to a lot of these questions boils back to a similar thing. And that is that we've been doing something for a long time, right? We have a belief system. We have a certain way of thinking. We have a certain self-talk that's going on inside of us, right? And so this has been going on habitually and automatically, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. Psychologists say that we have, the average person has over 70,000 thoughts a day, and over 93 or 94% of them are the same thoughts day in and day out. I mean, think about that. Are you aware that you're having 70,000 thoughts a day? I mean, I'm not aware I'm having 70,000 thoughts a day, but we are, right? And so what are we thinking? We're not, one of the exercises I tell people to do all the time is, look, take your smartphone, put an alarm on it every hour. Every hour, when that alarm goes off, stop and take 2 minutes and say, what was I thinking that past hour? And I mean, have a little notebook with you and just jot keywords down. I'm not saying write a book, just jot keywords down. Oh, I was thinking about my kid. I was thinking about, I was worried about this. I was thinking I hate my boss. I was, worrying about getting fired. I was worried about the economy. I was pissed off that so-and-so won the governorship of the, think all the things, right? And you'll see how your mind is like a ping pong ball going all over the place. Then you have to set the intention of directing it on purpose, right? I'm big on affirmations. A lot of people say affirmations don't work. And guess what? The reason they don't work, is because we have 70,000 thoughts a day. 94, 93% of them are the same thoughts every day. What do you think that is? What do you think that is? That's an affirmation. And if you're not happy with the results you're getting in your life, the odds are that you are negatively affirming on an ongoing, continual basis, as that question is indicative of.
Right.
Okay? So the thing is, are you going to one day say, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I'm a millionaire, I'm happy, I'm confident, I'm bold. Are you going to say that, for 10 minutes, 2 days, and then all of a sudden it's going to magically happen? No. You got a lot of caca in there, You got a lot of crap in there that you got to clear out, right? And so how do you, it's like the old thing, how do you, if you got a glass that's got dirt in it and you want to get the dirt out of the glass, how can you do it if you can't touch the glass, right? Well, the thing is, you take clean water and you start pouring the clean water into the glass, and the more water you pour in and the stronger the pouring is, the quicker you will move the dirt out of the glass, okay? And so that is how you clean it. Well, the same thing with your mind. What you've got to do is you've got to, and this is one of the things I teach both in my book, which if you haven't gotten it already, time for a quick commercial, And you're going to hear some great things in the next few days about a promotion that I'm doing. So if you haven't gotten it, right, the Ultimate Success Formula, get ready because it's coming. And the Mastering the Ultimate Success Formula, which is the companion program which demonstrates all these principles. And one of the things that I teach people how to do is how to create affirmations, but not just any affirmations, affirmations that resonate with you. If they don't resonate with you, then your subconscious goes, BS, BS, not true, blah, 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 and rejects it. So you've got to learn how to create affirmations that go into your subconscious mind and that your subconscious mind will accept, so that way, you can clean out all that junk. But again, it's just like if you're overweight and out of shape, how do you get in shape? You start eating correctly, and you start working out. You start exercising. So the same thing with the mind. You must exercise the mind. So how do you do that? By doing what you're doing right now, watching these shows, listening to good information, reading good information, watching, learning, doing programs, and following through. You've got to have your affirmations. You've got to, at the very least, when you wake up in the morning, you've got to learn how to release negative emotions. You've got to learn how to get yourself in an positive expectation mindset. You've got to learn how to either meditate or do self-hypnosis, do something to direct your mind on purpose. Do affirmations repeatedly that will wash out, that's like the glass, will wash out the dirt. Over time, it will work. And how do I know? Because you could sit here and go, well, I've been thinking this way for 40 years. Does that mean it's going to take me 40 years to change all this garbage? No, it's not. Because you know what? Here's the good news. Positive is more powerful than negative. That's right. You heard me right. Positive, it's proven, is more powerful than negative. And some say 100 times, at least 10 times. 10 times more powerful than negative. So by that math, if you're consistent, what took you 40 years to develop a certain mindset should only take you 4 to completely change that mindset. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not so bad, right? I mean, 4 years to create the mindset that will produce whatever you want in life, and that doesn't mean you won't start getting results right away in the beginning, and that's the key to these programs and these things I do. I teach people how to get results immediately and start, because if you get some results, then you feel positive about continuing on the journey. And so that's what we want you to do. We want you to get to that point where you can really make inroads and have immediate success, right? And then that way you stay on the path, and in a matter of a couple years, your life is transformed. Not too bad, right?
That's absolutely. And be grateful for any little milestone that you achieve.
Exactly.
Right?
Gratitude and appreciation are major keys.
It elevates your vibration.
Your vibration,
yes.
Exactly.
So you talk so much about having clarity as to what you want, your dream, like being real clear on your dream. But I have no idea what mine is. Help! Exclamation point. Is there something wrong with me?
No, it's called an extreme case of fear of failure. I mean, usually when people don't clarify what it is that they want, they may have had some setbacks, or they may have had some failures. We had actually a woman in one of our seminars who just was like that, couldn't figure out what it is that she wanted, and just had no motivation, no nothing. And during the seminar, the first day, she kept coming up to me saying, I don't know what I want. I said, just pretend you do. Act like you do. Pretend you do. Right?
And she was
right?
Like, what?
Exactly. What would you do if you did know? Right? And so she started doing that, and all of a sudden, when we got to the clearing the blocks part, she really got emotional, and we come to find out that she had been raped as a little girl, and so she had an extreme amount of feelings of unworthiness and non-deservingness and not being good enough, and was beating herself up tremendously. And once we cleared that, all of a sudden her dreams came back, right? And so sometimes it's things like that. Sometimes it could be just failures and things that you've had that just set you back so much that you're afraid to hope again, that you're afraid to dream again. But one of the things that I tell people to do is, look, the dream is inside of you. You just have to define it, right? You have to go into these sessions like suspending disbelief, right? When I do dreaming sessions with people, I say, you got to go into this like a child. Suspend your disbelief.
Yeah.
Forget about can I, can't I, should I, shouldn't I, do I deserve it, am I good enough, am I worthy? I mean, you got to suspend all that stuff. A child doesn't worry if they're worthy, doesn't worry if they deserve it or not. They don't worry if they're good enough. They just want it. They just want it. And that's the mindset that you have to take on in order to figure out what you want. What you really want in life, right? Because we'd all say, oh, well, I'd love it if I won the lottery, right? If I got free $5 million or $2 million or 10 or 20 or whatever it is, oh, if I got free money, I would love that, right? But you're not saying, well, I'm going to give something for that. I'm going to really focus on doing something with my life and serving the needs of other people. See, here's one of the things a lot of people don't get. You make money in business by serving other people's needs. You don't make money in business by serving your needs. You're not the best salesman in the world because you're a good, like they think, a good BSer, or somebody who just is a good talker. No, every good salesman that I've ever met in my life was a good listener. They learned to talk to people and listen for what that other person's needs and wants are, and then show them how to resolve it, how to solve it with the product or service that they happen to be representing. Any sale is like that. So what you must understand is that business, all business is serving other people's needs. It's taking what you're good at, it's taking your gift, it's taking your product, it's taking your service, and it's solving other people's needs. It's, find a solution to the problem. That's what makes money. So serving is what makes money. Therefore, first, define the life you'd like to have. Because defining the life you'd like to have will dictate the belief system that you need to have. It'll dictate the mindset that you need to have. That's one thing a lot of people say, well, I can't have that because I'm like this. Well, as long as you're like this, you can't have that. You're right. But you know what? The way you are is not unchangeable, right? You're just a collection of thoughts. I hate to say this, but you're just a collection of thoughts. You're just a collection of thoughts you've thought a lot of times. You're just a collection of beliefs and assumptions about what reality is. That's what you are. And that's what's producing your life, right? So decide, see, people put the cart before the horse. Decide what you want your life to be like. Decide the masterpiece you want to create with your life, and then make yourself. That's right. Then make yourself. Decide the life you want to have, and then recreate yourself on purpose by your own likes, by your own dreams, by your own goals, by your own, what turns you on, what makes you happy, not what your programmers did, okay? Your programmers, your teachers, your parents, your grandparents, all those people, they programmed you. Not to hurt you, because they loved you. And they believed what they believed, so they thought you should believe the same thing. But you know what? You're not them. You have your own likes, your own dislikes. God is in you. He's in them too. Maybe they didn't listen, but maybe you should. God is in you, saying all the time, you have unlimited potential. You can have anything you want. You're a winner. You're great. You can have anything and everything you want. Go, go, go. Express ever greater levels of life, love, and beauty. Go, go, go. I'm here at your beck and call, waiting. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Listen to that voice. Find your dream. Find what it is find that dream that you're so in love with, that you just love so much that you want to marry that dream and not let that dream go. You find that, you're on the way, because there you have the motive for change and for action. And that's what motivation is.
Do we have time for one more, or are we out of time?
For a quickie, maybe.
A quickie?
A
Well,
quickie.
I don't know.
I'll have to answer it quick.
Okay,
Because we got the Spanish one coming up after
Yes.
this, so
Okay, here we go.
here we go.
This is not a quick one.
Uh-oh.
But every time I start tapping
Uh-huh.
to get rid of my limiting beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
I feel a knot in my throat.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean?
It means you have resistance. I mean, the knot is coming up because, I mean, I'm not there with you, so I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know how you were brought up, what you were trained, what you were taught. You could have been imbued with a huge amount of guilt, with a huge amount of unworthiness. I mean, usually all these resistance things all boil down to not feeling good enough, being unworthy, being undeserving, guilt, you know. And so it could be that you feel like, you know, getting rid of this stuff would be going against that person who, a lot of times a parent that told us that we needed to be this way and act this way and feel this way and do this way, and that we weren't good enough, and in our family nobody's ever been a millionaire, and in our family nobody's, you know, moved out of this area of the world, of the neighborhood or the world or whatever. You know, that we're imbued with so much guilt in our upbringing. And then we start trying to break out of that, right? And then the knot comes up in our throat or in our solar plexus, or, you know, resistance, self-sabotage, whatever. You got to work through it. You got to work through it.
Nothing bad can happen, right?
No, nothing bad can happen.
It's just that
try to understand that when you are tapping, if you're doing that kind of tapping and, you know, that kind of thing, and the knot comes, you know, just kind of put your attention on it and go, who are you? What are you? You know, and try to just figure out what that feeling is, where it's coming from. Try to, you know, without giving things labels unnecessarily, because I'm not a believer in that, but just kind of, you know, just kind of say, what belief is behind this? What feeling is behind this? And then go tap on that feeling. Go tap on that belief. Go tap on that feeling of unworthiness. Go tap on that guilt. Go tap on that lump, okay? Go tap on that. Break through it. Break through it. Don't be afraid. You have divinity inside of you. You have greatness inside of you, and you need to express. So keep going. Keep going. You're on the road. You're getting closer.
Don't give up. Resistance, like Carlos said.
Exactly. Don't give up.
Resistance.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Okay?
And may I add
Sure.
one more
Yeah,
thing?
absolutely.
You know, and usually if you feel the pain or the knot in the throat, just tap on the knot in the throat. Don't try to give it any other meaning. Start tapping on the knot on the throat. And usually it's probably a memory when you were a child of something that happened to you at
Very
that
true.
time. And it's just stuck in there. And your resistance is letting it go. So just tap on first on the knot on the throat, and then pay attention to what thought comes up. And that thought or feeling is probably a childhood memory of something that did happen
Right.
at that moment.
And remember too, you know, different people have different systems with which they express or relate to the world, right? And some people are more visual, some are more auditory, some are more feeling inclined or kinesthetic. So, you know, just don't be afraid to experiment and use the different systems, right? I mean, I'm I do a lot of, I'm very visual in some respects, and then I do a lot of things auditorily. And so, you know, I'm a big believer in questioning the subconscious mind. So if you question and it doesn't answer, just tap on the feeling or start with tapping on the feeling and then, you know, move into questioning it. I mean, there's no really wrong way to do it. Just do what feels right to you, but just do it. Just do it and keep on doing it, okay? So we are out of time, and we've just enjoyed being here with you again one more time. I mean, it's just, you know, a lot of fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
It is. We thoroughly enjoy this, and We will be traveling next week, so we're going to do a replay next week because we won't be here to film the show. So
And it is live.
and it is live. So we'll be back the following week, but we're going to play a replay of something really, really special next week. Something that was really impacting to tens of thousands of people already, and we want to share it with you once again. So be back for the show next week. Until then, God bless. Have a great week, and live your unlimited life. See you then.
Good night.